Hello and welcome to Healing from Grief and Loss, where top experts guide you on your journey to find strength, comfort, and joy again. I'm Andrea, your host, and on today's show, my lovely guest expert is Natalie Richardson. Thank you so much for being here, Natalie. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
So Natalie is she's the managing director at the Save Your Skin Foundation. So I want to get a little bit more into the foundation, but wondering if we want to start with a little bit of your story. Would you like to share a little bit with the viewers today?
Yes, happy to. I was always a sun baby and not very aware of skin cancer and melanoma throughout my life. And about midway through my 30s, my kids, I have twin daughters, they're 11 years old at the time. I had a mole that was that I'd had all my life, but for the last 6 to 8 months, it started to change color and shape and just wasn't looking right. But being a busy working mother, I ignored it and didn't look after myself quite in time. So by the time I had this mole checked out, it turned out that it was metastatic nodular melanoma. So I was diagnosed in 2014, so just over 6 years ago in April, with stage 3B melanoma skin cancer, which is quite serious, and I didn't realize the gravity of it at the time until I was quickly referred to Sunnybrook in Toronto and was having CAT scans and surgeries and immunotherapy treatments and clinical trial. It was a really difficult journey for myself and my family and my kids, and I was really hit hard emotionally and psychologically with fear and anxiety and anticipation for my future and my daughters, because I wasn't given a very good prognosis. I was told that I likely wouldn't see my children graduate high school. So thankfully, I did receive innovative treatment, which is immunotherapy, and it saved my life, I would say. And so 6 years later, I'm happy to report I have no evidence of disease, and my daughters are just getting ready they just graduated high school, and they're getting ready to go to college in the fall, and I'm feeling well and happy to be, in this, I guess to have had this experience has brought a lot of depth to my life that I might not have had before. So during my cancer journey, I had a very, very low point. It was difficult to deal with the psychological effects of everything that was happening with cancer. And so I stumbled upon Save Your Skin Foundation, which is a skin cancer patient support organization that's based in BC, but does work across the country. And I found support there that I needed at the time. It was exactly what I needed. And my mentor, who's now my boss, Kathy Barnard, she founded the foundation after her melanoma diagnosis in 2006. She founded the foundation, and she is a source of strength to everyone and has gone through kind of the worst cancer diagnosis, and she's the longest melanoma survivor in Canada at this point. So knowing the gravity of the disease, she was able to really give me a lot of support and the community that she's built through the foundation. So I started volunteering for Save Your Skin, and then I just eventually knew that to go back to work after my treatments when I was feeling better, I needed to do something meaningful with my career. So I came to work for Save Your Skin, and now I'm the director here. So it's busy and rewarding and fulfilling. But one thing that definitely is on our minds every day is the support that we give to patients and their families and caregivers, navigating the healthcare system, but also navigating the disease of something as it's almost mysterious as a melanoma. Skin cancer diagnosis is different for everyone. Skin cancer is the most common cancer, but melanoma is the most dangerous of those cancers, and it's something that we work in every day. So when we help patients through it, we know what they're feeling because we've been through it. And then for those that we lose, for those who lose their battle with melanoma, it shakes the foundation to our core because we feel we wish we could have helped them more or saved them, or that the system could do more, or the treatments could do more, or that they could have survived. So losing someone in the cancer space is it's scary, it's unpredictable, and it's difficult. So in addition to the happy, positives and education awareness that we do, we also are very connected with our membership and the people who get support from Save Your Skin.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That would have been a pretty scary, difficult time in your life for sure. And I'm just, I'm happy 6 years later you have that to report, and all is well, and you've got some exciting things happening in your life on a personal note. So yes, awesome. Congratulations with that. And yeah, I don't know much about the Save Your Skin Foundation. Of course, I see the commercials, and every time I sort of stop what I'm doing to watch the commercials, and it's just such, it feels like it would be such a heartfelt community to to belong to your membership. So how do people, other than obviously your website, but how would they reach out, and what sort of things do you do for that community or your membership?
Well, to anyone that's diagnosed with skin cancer, whether it's melanoma or non-melanoma or ocular melanoma, which is a very rare cancer of the eye, people who are diagnosed or at any point in their journey can find us through saveyourskin.ca, or we have a 1-800 line that is answered 24/7 by Kathy, actually, personally, and we have outreach programs across the country. So a lot of clinics and hospitals and office spaces and dermatologists and general practitioners and medical oncologists have our information on hand and can share it with those who are newly diagnosed. It's a relatively small community because in Canada, about 7,000 people per year are diagnosed with melanoma, and 1,200 will succumb to that disease. But skin cancer as a whole, of 80,000 people per year are diagnosed in Canada. So it's we're there for anyone at any point in their journey, and we actually are known to help people that don't have skin cancer but are in other indications that need help as well, like ovarian or pancreatic. The cancer community is, as a whole, very helpful to each other in Canada, and so we'd like to be part of that. So there are lots of ways to reach out to us, and that's with our printed or digital materials and social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the avenues is Save Your Skin. You can find us pretty well there.
Oh, good. Okay. So lots of, so lots of different avenues, lots of ways that people can reach out. So as far as families that unfortunately lose a family member, what sort of stuff can they get from you guys as far as support in that, just grieving from a lost family member?
We do have an extensive area on our website that is full of resources for emotional and mental wellness. And we do have a piece specifically to do with grief. And it's full of links, and I could send you the link after if you post it as well. It's full of links for resources for different ways to cope with the grief and loss, especially with a loss associated to cancer. There's often, it can be a very sudden loss, or it can be very, a very difficult time leading up to it, and maybe an extended illness and incapacity of the patient. And the family and caregivers are really trying to be hopeful, but it can be a very tumultuous roller coaster, and sometimes it's sudden and sometimes it's long. So we do have different links and resources to help cope with that, in addition to one-on-one support and that peer support that I mentioned. We're just there for people, so we can just listen and just talk. We do also have a STAR program that we like to call them part of our family. So if we lose a family member, then we do get the coordinates for a STAR and give it to the family, and then they have a way to remember their loved one that they've lost. Other things that we suggest is, just how to remember their loved one with, photos and memories, and try to cherish those good times. And quite often the medical system too, the cancer center, will also have ways to help remember and help cope. So we try to make sure we're very connected with the physician community in the skin cancer care space across Canada. So we can connect patients with some resources right in their care center, patients or caregivers and their families. So there are options out there that sometimes people aren't aware of or are afraid to approach. And so we can help make that accessible for them and help them understand it's good to get help and where they might be able to find it.
Wow, that's wonderful. So lots of resources out there. That's great. So yeah, I'll make sure that we have some links after the video. We'll make sure there's some links and people can get, if they need some immediate resources. Yeah. So I'm just gonna maybe ask you one more question. So going back to your story, what sort of helped you the most during your time? Like I realize you did, reach out and you did have a support system, but if someone is going through, a similar circumstance right now, what sort of tips or advice can you share that you found in your healing journey that helped you along the way?
Oh, there were quite a few. I was very lucky to have a warm circle of family and friends and co-workers at the time for my previous job that really came around us, and they helped. And sometimes I really struggled with accepting that help. So that was a challenge. I think if I was to go through it again, or if someone else was going through it, I'd say lean on your people, because they're offering and they don't know how to help, and they're just wanting to help you. So try to accept that help. And I learned that they were also feeling better about the journey that we were all on together, because they cared about me and they worried about our family and about the girls, my kids. And by helping us, they were helping themselves as well. So we were kind of staying in that, in our own family and friends community. So I'd say, lean on the people that are offering you support. Also professional help. I definitely did seek the help of the counseling program at the cancer center that I'm at, and that was very helpful. Another thing for me personally was journaling. So I am a blogger by hobby. I've always loved to write, and I started a blog that was a way of keeping family and friends up to date on what was happening, because I had so many appointments and so many medical terms and so many things that people didn't understand. And I also at the same time didn't feel up to having all the phone calls and keeping people updated. So I started writing, and it was a public, just a free website. And it ended up being really cathartic for me, because I was able to get out all of my frustrations, my fear, my anxiety, but I was also able to laugh at myself sometimes and share what was happening in our family without feeling like it was invasive. So the blog still lives, though I don't update it as much anymore, but since then I've also still written in a journal, and handwriting, or drawing as well. Coloring, thankfully adult coloring came into being a very positive, new kind of hobby a few years ago. So that was a huge part of my recovery. I will not admit how many pencil crayons I went through. And also visualization. So going through magazines and things and getting pictures and just making a visualization board of the things that I loved, or the things that held true to who I was before this loss or this grief. And I've done the same thing after losing a loved one as well. Just remembering who you are and what you want, and staying focused on the future, and something as simple as visualizing the happy things can help you remember that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that you will eventually get through what you're going through. And you know, just any tool that feels right for you, you should trust your gut and just lean on the sources of support that work for you. I also got a dog, and you know, he's my cancer buddy. So I thought that he would encourage me to walk and get out there more at a time when I needed it. Now we do, but at the time I still wasn't feeling quite up to being out, but he was okay with that. He kind of preferred laying on the couch anyway. So then I could cuddle with him. So a pet, you know, a pet is great. And of course, leaning on your loved ones. I'll go back to that. If it wasn't for my kids, you know, giving me the hope that I needed to, you know, lean on them, not lean on them, but use their inspiration to get through everything that we were going through.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing. That's so many really good inspirational tips there for people. I know journaling is big for a lot, and just, you know, the creative side of things, like the adult coloring, and you know, nature was a big thing for me, and my animals. You know, I'm on the farm with lots of animals, and you know, always I would always lean on them, of course my husband too, but it's so important because yeah, I know a lot of people want to sort of hide and shy away and don't want to talk about things, and or don't want to be, you know, visible and present. And I think it's just so important that you know, people do reach out, and if it's not family and friends, then it has to be you know, someone else that maybe doesn't know anything about you, just someone that doesn't know the players, or like you say, a professional, or an organization like yourself. Just people need to know that they don't have to be alone, and they need to they just need, don't be afraid to reach out, basically. So yeah, thank you for that, Natalie. It was wonderful. So before we go, is there anything else you want to share with my viewers today?
Well, I would just, you know, I just wish them strength and good energy, and for everything that they've experienced in life and everything they will experience, and wherever they are in their journey, whether it's, you know, whatever part of the roller coaster it may be on, to know that they're not alone, and there are lots of great resources and people like yourself who are getting this information out there. And if they happen to be touched by skin cancer, then that's, I know that's a pretty specific thing, but if they are, or any kind of cancer or disease, there are support groups and patient support and advocacy groups across Canada that will help with, you know, a lot of the things that they might be going through. So they should go ahead and reach out. And if if it's skin cancer, then you can always give us a call, saveyourskin.ca.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I learned a lot today. That was wonderful. So thank you again. I know you're a busy gal, so we will wrap things up. And it was such a pleasure chatting with you, and getting a lot of brilliant information. And we will have, for the viewers, we'll have some links posted after the video. And yes, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Andrea. Thanks for doing the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to my viewers for tuning in today. I hope something touched your soul. It definitely touched mine. Natalie's just a little breath of fresh air and a book of knowledge. So if you need to reach out, don't be shy. Please do so. And just in the meantime, be safe and be kind to yourself. And remember, you're not alone. Bye for now.